is your vitamin M. This is your motivation for the week. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, welcome to your vitamin M. I am your host. I am your hype girl. Listen, I am your resident motivator, Marshall Sterling, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me on tonight. Listen, I see you getting your vitamin M. Go get it, hey. Get your vitamin M, hey. Go get your vitamin M, hey. Vitamin M, vitamin M, hey. Go get it, go get it, go get it, hey. Go get it, hey. Go get it, hey. Get your vitamins, get your vitamins, get your vitamins, get your vitamins, get your. You know you need it. You know that it is necessary. Listen, I am going to stand by it that you need your weekly dose of vitamin M, your weekly dose of motivation. And who better to give it to you than your girl, Marshall Sterling? Listen, we are always together. I never, ever, 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 ever take it for granted that you stop and take time out on every single solitary Sunday night to join me at 6:30 to go get it, to go get your vitamin M. And listen, when I tell you that I enjoy this just as much as I know you enjoy, it is an exchange that we do together. It is something that ignites inside of me to be able to come and to join you, listen, and to get you all hyped up for your week so that you are ready, hey. So you ready, hey. So you ready, hey. So you ready, hey. You ready for whatever life throws your way. And on tonight, listen, I have had such an amazing time learning and researching and doing all of the work that goes into talking about habits. You know, we have been diving in. We have been getting our year off to a great start because remember at the beginning of the year, I told you that you want to start the year the way that you plan on finishing. You have to set yourself up for greatness in order that you can see the results, in order that you can get out of life and on this journey everything that you want, everything that you desire, and everything that is destined to come your way. And so on tonight, we're going to do another round when we talk about habits. Remember, habits. Listen, they can be good habits or they can be not so great habits. But you can't listen. We cannot live this life without our habits. We eat, sleep, and breathe our habits. And so on tonight, we're going to talk about habits, the cycle. Habits, the cycle. Habits, the cycle. Habits go in a cycle. But before we go there, any good teacher would remind you, just in case, if you missed the other episodes, I'm going to quickly bring you back up to date and just remind you that habits is a noun, and habits can be defined as a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. It is a practice, it's a custom, it can be a routine, it is a pattern. Listen, a habit is something that you do on a regular basis. And remember that we talked about that a habit also is something that is, it's hard to give up. And I said that, and it is routine, but it is something that you do over and over and over and over and over and over again. That is the reason why, and that is how it becomes a habit. A habit becomes something that turns into something that you don't necessarily have to problem solve or to think about to do. It is on autopilot. And you know how it is in a car. The new cars, mine does not do that, but even like the cruise control will allow you to be able to kind of take your foot off, of the gas, and it just coasts. And all you have to do is put your hands on and guide. And in the auto driving cars, you don't do any of that. It kind of takes over and does it for you. This is what happens to our habits, because in habit, we do it on autopilot. We don't even think about it. We're just kind of coasting along the way, and we're just doing something because it becomes so automatic. It becomes so automatic for us. So our habits also, though, when we talked about habits, we've talked about the 7 steps to building a good habit. But now we want to talk about the cycle that habits go in. And on tonight, we're going to have a great discussion, because here, listen, let me tell you something. Habits are something that are vital to our lives. We eat, sleep, and breathe habits. We don't go in this life. You don't exist in this life without the habits that help you to get through. The habits either do one of 2 things. When they go in a cycle, our habits either propel us forward or our habits hold us back. Did you hear that? Our habits either propel us to go forward, to move in a forward direction, or our habits begin to hold us back and stop us from doing the things that we know that we want or desire to do. So my question to you is, what are your habits doing for you? Are your habits propelling you forward? Are they pushing you? Are the things that you've done so far this year, is it propelling you where you want and desire to go? Or have you got yourself stuck in a rut and you're not moving forward because you've formed these habits that now are not necessarily benefiting you and getting you where you want to go? See, on this journey, I'm learning to spend a lot of time reflecting and processing everything that I do, because every step that I make, every decision, I'm telling you, every friend that I add, everything that I do, no matter how minute it is, every nap that I take, every way that I drive, every decision and everything about my life, I'm reflecting on that, because it is tied to my destiny. It is tied to where I want to go. And I don't want to put out anything in the atmosphere that is not getting me where I want to go. And if you are not there, if you are not reflecting on everything in your life, every minute detail, then you need to be. Because you should ask yourself the same thing. Not only are my habits propelling me forward, or are they holding me back, but then with that is coupled, what do I need to adjust? What do I need to shift? What do I need to change in order that I get where I want to go? So again, our habits flow in a cycle. And I know that you're asking, Sterling, what do you mean? I'm going to answer that for you as soon as we return.
Marshall Sterling is available for your next event. Known for her energetic speaking style and down-to-earth teaching, Marshall has made a positive impact on her audience at every engagement. Whether it is a keynote address, conference, workshop, breakout session, or staff meeting, Marshall brings the same fire and excitement to every session. To bring the Sterling experience to your next event, scan the QR code on the screen, or go to www.marshallsterling.com.
Welcome back. We stopped, and what we were discussing were habits. And habits form and come in a cycle. And when I was telling you that I know you asked, Sterling, what are you talking about? Well, you know what? I am so glad that you asked, because we don't just start and stop doing things. Things flow in a cycle. Like we have a life cycle. It's the same thing. Things flow in a cycle. And so this part of our discussion, I always make sure that I give credit that these are not just 100% my ideas, because I don't want nobody coming for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. I'm going to tell you where this came from. I love to read. I do a lot of reading, whether it is, I'm trying to get into ebooks, but hey, sidebar, I still like my books. I want to buy a book. I want to hold it. I want to open up the page. I want to do all that, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I am reading a book called Atomic Habits, and it is by James Clear. And one of the things that he talks about that makes a lot of sense to me is that our habits go in a cycle. And so the cycle of the habits are the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So I'm going to say that again, because your girl has a stutter. So I want to make sure that I say it clear. The cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. It is a cycle. And so when he talks about, and we're talking about the cue, so I'm going to talk some of the things that James Clear offers us, and then I'm going to add my own little spin, my takeaways, how I view it, and just my own other research from outside sources that all talk about habits. Because remember, I told you there is a lot of research out there about habits. And so when we talk about a cue is the trigger that triggers the brain to initiate a behavior. It is the trigger that talks to the brain that basically tells the brain, hey, do this. Then there is the craving. It is the motivational force behind the habit. The motivational force behind the habit. Then it is the response. It's the actual habit, which can take the form of a thought or an action. And then there is the reward. And who doesn't love rewards? It is the actual end goal of the habit. So if you have that, you may have to listen to that again. The cue is the trigger. It's what triggers you to do the behavior. The craving, it's the motivational force. Why do I want to do it? The response is the habit. How do you respond in response to whatever the craving is? And then that response becomes the reward. It is who doesn't like rewards? It is my reward that I satisfy my cue, and then the cycle continues over and over and over and over and over again. And it just keeps going. So what I'm telling you is that let's talk about some of our habits and what that looks like when we talk about that they are in a cycle, that they go round and round and round and round and round. And so remember that what you want to be, so before I start and I'll go there, what we want to be careful of, we want to be careful of the fact that because it goes in a circle, and because it is a cycle of response, you have to be careful how you respond to the trigger, because you can attach the wrong thing. We have to be careful in our response, because the response becomes the reward that we attach to the cue. So you attach them all together and the cycle continues, which is why it is hard and difficult at times to break something that you don't want to do, because you have to replace that response and reward with something else when you have the trigger. That's all I'm going to tell you. So what reward, again, are you associating with your cue? So here we go. Here is one that is funny, that is going to crack us all up, because I know you're going to be able to relate. So here we go. You hit your toe. That's the cue. Oh, I hit my toe. Oh, I done hit my toe. I done hit my toe. Okay. What is the craving? The craving is that I want to stop my toe from hurting. What is your response? I'm going to hold my toe and I may scream, Now listen, now let's talk about it. Now some of us may say something else. We're not going to talk about what else we say, but we may say some other choice words, and they may not be, they may not be those that we want other people to hear us say. So we may say those with words, and then what is the reward? The reward is my toe is stopped throbbing and it feels better. So it is a cycle. So then what happens when I hit my toe, the next time I hit my toe, the trigger, what do? What is my craving? My craving is to stop it. So then what do? I hold it and I scream, or I may massage it, because what it provides me the relief that I need. Or like I said, now your relief may be a couple of other words, but then that's how the cycle goes over and over again, because that is your response to hitting your toe. Let's go for another one that's very personal to me. My trigger, the cue, is I become nervous. I get anxious. I get nervous about something. And so what is the craving? The craving is for me to stop the feeling of nervousness. And so I want to calm myself down. But then what do? My response becomes my reward, because I in turn bite or pick at my nails. And so why do I continue to do it over and over and over again? Because I've associated with the cue of nervousness, with that feeling. I've associated relief through picking or biting my nails. So see, if I want to change it, the next time that I feel anxious or the next time that I get nervous, I have to attach something else to it, so that the reward is different, so that I don't in turn do what I don't want to do, which is to bite and to pick at my nail. Come on, if you with your girl, come on now. Listen, I'm gonna tell myself, speak, Sterling, speak. Y'all know, listen, you all need to be in here. I'm telling you, it is all about the cycle. This hit me so hard when you begin to think about it. What are you associating with your cue, with your trigger? What are you putting with it? And whatever your response, it becomes your reward. And so that is the reason why it happens over and over and over again. So we have to change our response to the situation. Now, here's another one. When I am experiencing an off day, and you know how somebody like, my day is just off. Like my day is just off. So what is the craving? The craving is that I want to feel energized, or I want some peace. I want some calmness. And so then what do? I'm going to go and watch the Vitamin M show, and then that becomes my reward. So then every Sunday night, I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch the Vitamin M show. You want to know why? Because my girl, Marshall Sterling, hey, she levels out my day. She makes me feel good about myself. She gets me up and she gets me motivated. That becomes the reward. I reward myself. I reward myself with looking at the Vitamin M show. Why? Because it provides me something that I need. It fulfills a trigger within myself. When I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling out, when I feel like I'm ready to give up, what am I going to go and do? I am going to go to my girl, because I know that my girl has something for me. She is going to take me to the mountaintop, and she's going to make sure that I am equipped. She's equipping me with all of the tools necessary. You want to know why? Because I'm equipping myself. We are on this journey together. You are not on this journey alone. We are in this together. We are in this together. We are in this together. We are here to make it. And when we begin to talk about our habits, we want to ensure that our response and our reward matches the cue that we want. We're going to continue after this message.
Sometimes life's experiences may be difficult to navigate alone. If you are stressed, suffering from anxiety, struggling with depression, having difficulty with communication, or wanting to build self-compassion, therapy may be right for you.
Being Refined Counseling is now accepting new clients in Texas. Whether you're new to therapy, changing therapists, or resuming after some time away, we can support you in your personal refining process while moving you closer to your desired outcomes and goals. With over a decade of experience, specialties include adolescence, stress management, anxiety, depression, boundary setting, building self-compassion, and more. Why wait to get the support you need? Visit www.beingrefinedcounseling.com or call 972-379-9320 to get started on your journey to mental wellness.
All sessions are held virtually and open to Texas residents.
Give your cue the right signal. Give your cue the right signal. Did you hear me when I said give your cue the right signal? You want a reward that will start your greatness. You want to make sure that all things are aligned, that they all are coming together, because you don't want anything out of alignment. You don't want anything stopping you. You don't want anything holding you back. You need it to match. We need it to match. When I tell you that, listen, I need you to match my energy. I need you to match my energy. I need you to get excited about your habits and excited about where you are going, because I know that there's greatness within you. When you feel a desire to stop doing something, because see, what we have to remember is that our habits, they're always in a cycle. And remember, I've already said we want our cue, we want our response and our reward to match the cue. You want it to go together. And that applies to the things that we want to start doing. And it also applies to the things that we want to stop doing. What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to put a pause on? What do you need to delete? What do you need to evaluate? We all need to take the time to evaluate our lives and our situations and the habits that we have created, or the habits that we have allowed the world and others to create for us. And when we pause and we stop to think about it, we want to stop and pause. Stop. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of who you are. Be aware of where you are going. And then process. So it's stop, pause, think. Stop, pause, and think. Stop, pause, and think. Think about, what do you want to do? Is this benefiting me? This way, we spend less time having to undo things in our lives. We do not have time to waste. We do not have time to waste. We do not have time to waste. Our time and our minutes are precious to us, and every second counts. It's like I tell my parents when they're dropping their kids off, listen, I need them here before the toilet bell rings, so that we can maximize every single solitary educational minute that we have. I come to put you on notice that the toilet bell is about to ring. The toilet bell is about to ring. Get to class on time. Get there ahead. You need to maximize every single solitary minute of your life. You have no time to waste. You have no time to waste. The cycle, the habit cycle, it works. How do I apply it? Because I'm going to stop, think, and pause and reflect on the things that I'm doing in my life to ensure that they are going where I want to go. And sometimes, and not sometimes, one of the things that you need to be aware of, because sometimes we go and remember that our habits are on autopilot and we're just cruising along. Can you relate to this? Have you ever just been driving along and told yourself, I need to go stop, we'll just say at the cleaners? But you find yourself in your driveway. Then when you get to your driveway, you're like, oh man, darn, I meant to go to the cleaners. That's because you went on autopilot. You started thinking about something else and you just kept driving home. And sometimes I can get home and like, okay, wait a minute. How did I just get home that fast? It's because I drive the same way. It's a habit. I'm on autopilot. You have to then stop. And I would tell myself, Marshall, check in. And I'll do a check-in on my own self. Marshall, check in. Sometimes Marshall, check in. Check in, Marshall. Be aware of what is going on around you so that things do not just happen in my life. And when those things do happen to me, one of the things that we can do is the ABCs. It's the antecedent, the behavior, and the consequences. Why do I tell you to do the ABC check? The ABC check is because I need to know the antecedent, what preceded the behavior, and then what are the consequences of my actions. The ABCs, the antecedent, you need to identify what happened preceding that, the behavior, and then the consequences so that you don't continue the same cycle over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then you want to track your progress. Track your progress. Keep a tally. I don't care what you have to do. Get you a pen and some paper and track your progress. After you track your progress, listen, get you an accountability partner, somebody that you can relate to and talk to about your progress and where you are. Remember that our habits go in a cycle. They go in a cycle. The cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. This has been your Vitamin M. I hope and pray that you have an amazing week.
Join us next week to get your weekly dose of Vitamin M. To celebrate her birthday, Marshall is selecting 2 corporations to give away a free signature workshop. Tell someone you know or scan the QR code to enter. Advertise with us, scan here to set up your discovery call. Let's grow together. Please visit our website at www.marshallsterling.com.